Okay, so I just watched Saturday night's main event, John Cena's last match against Gunther. And what do I think about it? Well, to be short and frank, disappointed. Very disappointing and quite frankly a disaster. John Cena, the guy who never quits, never backs down, the guy who has never tapped out in over 20 years. Basically, ever since it was decided that John Cena will be the man in the WWE. Certainly, since John Cena's catchphrase in the WWE became never quit, never back down. Never quit, never back down. It's all over on John Cena's merchandise. Never quit, never back down. And if you're watching this video, you probably already know that John Cena lost against Gunther at the main event of Saturday night's main event. And not only did he lose, because quite frankly, there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of people talking and chatting online. Brian Alvarez, Dave Meltzer, I think even Eric Bischoff and Jim Cornette. A lot of people have been saying or speculating that, hey, John Cena should win his final match and he should send the crowd home happy. And I never bought that for a second, especially since we're talking about John Cena, a guy who's definitely not a selfish man in the wrestling business and not a selfish man at all. And John Cena has been putting younger guys over for the past 10 years or so. John Cena, he said that he was going to help the younger guys, the younger NXT stars, and asked the WWE that they highlight some of the younger talents on NXT for this show. So yeah, it doesn't make sense to me that John Cena would waste that opportunity to put a younger guy over. Gunther, not exactly a super young guy. I think he's about 38 years old. However, he still has a quite a while to go in the WWE. He's basically hit his peak or is about to hit his peak, and this victory for Gunther will certainly help propel Gunther into superstardom. However, it's not so much the fact that Gunther won that I'm disappointed with. A lot of people said, hey, Gunther didn't need to win. He doesn't need to win. He's already the big bad baby face. Well, yes, he Gunther doesn't need to win, but I still think, there's nothing wrong with losing your final match. In fact, to me, losing your final match is the way to say, hey, you know, I can't go on anymore. I'm done. I'm finished. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose. Ultimately, how well you perform in a match has almost nothing to do with whether you actually win the match or not. As you would see if Shawn Michaels' most recent WrestleMania battles back in the noughties, Shawn Michaels almost won none of those battles. I think he might have only won two matches in the whole decade of 2000 to 2010 at WrestleMania. I think it was two or three matches he won. He lost the rest. But Shawn Michaels taught me something, and I think he taught most of the WWE universe something, which is you can go home a hero. You can steal the show without winning a match. So for me, John Cena winning this match was almost irrelevant. In fact, I don't think he should have won the match, and he didn't win the match. However, what is disastrous is the way John Cena lost the match. John Cena is a guy who infamously and famously says, I never quit, I never back down. He hasn't tapped out in over 20 years, ever since he became a major star in the WWE. Yet, John Cena tapped out to Gunther. And I was enjoying this match. It was a great match. There was a lot of attitude adjustments. I think there were four attitude adjustments, including one on the table and one off the turnbuckle, a Super AA. People were saying Super Cena, which is a chant I don't think I've ever heard. But it turns out John Cena is not so super because John Cena did tap out. He actually tapped out. He didn't pass out. He tapped out. And if John Cena just passed out, he could have went home like a star. He technically did not quit if he passed out, like Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13. However, John Cena actually tapped out, and when I saw it, it's like time stood still. I could not believe my eyes what I was seeing, and I couldn't believe my eyes because it's so much of John Cena's character not to quit, not to back down, and Super Cena. People were chanting Super Cena in his match. Turns out John Cena wasn't Super Cena after all, and he tapped out in his final match. And there's an old saying from a movie, I think it's The Dark Knight, and I think it goes something like this: you can kill the Batman, but you cannot kill what Batman symbolizes. And hey, you can retire John Cena. John Cena's career can be over, but you can't kill what John Cena symbolizes. Except they did kill what John Cena symbolizes. John Cena could have gone down in history as the guy who never quits, who never backs down. But he backed down, he quit, and he tapped out in his final match. Didn't pass out, he tapped out. So you killed everything that John Cena represented in his final match. He didn't have to win the match, and I suspected this match was about survival. It was going to be about, hey, Gunther tried to make John Cena tap out, but he couldn't do it. He got the victory anyway. He pinned him, but Gunther couldn't make Cena tap out. That was the victory. That was the storyline I was hoping for. But no, John Cena literally tapped out, and it looked pathetic. And time stood still was certainly a shocking moment. Now, I like to look at things objectively. There are advantages of the two sides to every story. So why did this happen? First of all, it transforms or catapults Gunther to superstardom. Many people who probably never even heard of Gunther probably are now aware of who Gunther is. That being said, did Gunther really need this? And I'm not sure Gunther has much appeal to people who are not actually interested in wrestling. So I'm not sure how much this decision to make John Cena tap out actually makes Gunther a global superstar or something. Everyone who's watched WWE over the past year or recently, we know that Gunther is a big star. What has hurt Gunther is the fact that Gunther tapped out himself. Now that's what hurt Gunther. At WrestleMania, he tapped out to a guy who's not even a submission specialist, Jey Uso. So now we're trying to build up Gunther again, and he doesn't need it. He didn't need it. I don't think he necessarily needed the victory over John Cena, although if you're going to have a legend like John Cena face a younger legend like Gunther, then obviously the younger legend should go over. But at what cost? At the cost of ruining what John Cena symbolizes, which is never quit, never back down. I mean, are you serious? WWE, are you serious? So it was a bad decision, but hey, we've now established Gunther as a quote legend killer of sorts. He's ended Goldberg's career. He ended John Cena's career. He didn't have to end it the way it ended, but now we've built up Gunther as the top heel in WWE. Maybe a guy to replace Brock Lesnar, as Brock Lesnar was the top heel from about 2016 to 2023. And now we got this other big bad Austrian guy, Gunther, as the top heel in WWE. And we had some pretty good heels. We had Seth Rollins as well, but man, you killed what John Cena symbolized. I mean, I saw a kid in the crowd crying. Was he crying because John Cena lost, or was he crying because he saw John Cena tap out? I mean, he didn't pass out; he tapped out. It's a contradiction. It's a major contradiction. And who is to blame for this? Well, John Cena recently said he just takes orders. He just takes orders, and you know, I would have to guess that it was probably John Cena's idea to tap out. But did Triple H have to go along with it? I mean, if they told John Cena to tap out, doesn't John Cena have some responsibility to say, hey, this kind of goes against everything I've been preaching? I mean, eat your vitamins, eat your milkshakes, eat your cereal. Isn't that what Hulk Hogan said? John Cena said, never quit, never back down. And the moral of the story is that John Cena did quit and he did tap out. And maybe he tapped out because it was a symbol of, hey, this is the end. This is truly the end. And you know what? I'm not being selfish. I'm going to put this guy over in the most maximum way possible by tapping out. So there are some upsides of this finish, but ultimately, you can't have the guy who preaches never quit, never back down, all the way at the last moment of his career, quit. It almost sounds like a fairy tale or something you read in a book. It sounds like a parable. The guy who never quit, quit on the last day. I mean, if you're going to quit, you might as well quit on the last day. But I would say, why ever quit at all? He could have just been pinned. He could have just passed out. And why were people saying, why did people say F? I can't say the words because we're on YouTube, but they basically used curse words at Triple H when he came out at the end of the match. And they said that because, well, not because he lost. I'm pretty sure not because he lost, but because John Cena tapped out. Now, whose decision was it? Was it Triple H's decision or John Cena's decision? I'd have to say probably both. I'm sure Triple H would have accepted if John Cena refused to tap out, but I'm not so sure that John Cena would have come up with this idea knowing it's everything against John Cena's character. But John Cena is an extremely selfless performer, so if John Cena was to put Gunther over in the maximum way possible and help the future, it's not about John Cena anymore, it's about the future. But you got to remember something, John Cena. You got to remember something, Triple H, whosever decision this was. You can kill the performer, you can retire the performer, but you cannot kill what the performer symbolizes. And unfortunately, you killed what John Cena symbolized tonight at Saturday night's main event, which is why this finish was a disaster. I don't want to say the whole match was a disaster. I don't want to say the whole night was a disaster. I don't want to say the whole retirement tour was a disaster, although there are many problems with the retirement tour, which I'll discuss in a later video. And I've already discussed on this channel some of those problems, but the tribute video at the end of this match was beautiful. I pretty much almost had tears in my eyes. I think my eyes watered up. I could see that John Cena had almost tears in his eyes, and John Cena holds back tears well because I'm not sure I could see him crying, but it was very hard not to cry, not to get emotional watching that touching tribute. John Cena is a guy, probably the only guy or the only major WWE superstar ever who I've watched his entire career. I started watching WWE in 2003, which is shortly after John Cena debuted, and basically I saw Cena rise from the Dr. Thugonomics to becoming the biggest star in wrestling for the past 20 years, at least the past 20 years, a sports icon and an icon that transcends wrestling into Hollywood and movies. And pretty much everybody knows John Cena, regardless of whether you watch wrestling or not. So it was a disastrous finish that killed what John Cena represented. That said, I know this is scripted entertainment, and for the interest of my own sanity, I'll have to just prefer, you know, I'll just have to pretend that last moment didn't happen. The match was beautiful up until that point. I actually think the announcer said John Cena's good doing the five knuckle shuffle from the last time. Gunther interrupted that, of course, but we didn't actually get the actual follow up. I was pretty certain there would be an actual last five knuckle shuffle, but that didn't even happen in the match either. So we didn't actually get that last five knuckle shuffle. We got plenty of AAs. We got a super AA. We got an AA from the stairs to the outside announcer's table. It was a good match. It was a beautiful match. They teased John Cena tapping out, and it should have just been a tease. Gunther should have just had to powerbomb and realize, you know what? This guy's getting all over me. I'm just going to have to pin him. So it put over Gunther big time, major time. But at what cost? You made the guy who never taps out, who never quits, who never backs down, tap out. And what effect is that going to happen over John Cena's fans? What happens when I go back in history and watch the old John Cena pay-per-views, the old episodes of Raw and SmackDown, if they ever get uploaded to Netflix or YouTube? And I know that never quit, that word never in never quit back down is false. It's a lie. And what effect is this going to happen on young kids, toddlers who are fans of John Cena, knowing that their hero, John Cena, quit on the final day? He tapped out. I mean, he did leave everything in the tank. He did truly leave everything in the tank. But you know what? Symbols matter, heroes matter, and slogans matter, especially a slogan that says, never quit, never back down. Not quit sometimes, not quit half the time, not almost never quit, not quit on the last day. It's never quit, never back down. That was the number one thing that John Cena taught me growing up. It's the number one thing that pretty much anyone associated with John Cena in the wrestling business knows. Is this guy doesn't quit. This guy has determination. He's not necessarily the best, most athletic, biggest, or strongest in the room, but he doesn't quit. He doesn't back down. He's got that grit determination. So yeah, John Cena should have lost this match as he did, but he shouldn't have lost in a way that completely contradicts his character. I mean, basically almost any other wrestler could have lost this way, and it wouldn't even been bad for any other WWE performer to lose their final match in this way. I mean, maybe John Cena thought, well, all these other superstars have passed out and tapped out to Gunther. Why do I think that I'm better than them? Why do I think that I'm superior to them? Well, you're superior to them because it's your slogan, it's your catchphrase. And hey, man, you can lose a match. You can put a younger guy over. You can put a talent who you think is even more talented than you over. But what you can't do is kill your character, especially a character that has such a powerful slogan, never quit, never back down, and a powerful slogan that helps younger people and especially children aspire to be you, aspire to be your hero. And I was one of those guys, Cena. I was one of those guys, and it's disappointing and quite frankly, a disaster the way this match ended. The rest of the night was beautiful. The match itself up until that point was beautiful. It could have been it could have been close to a 5-star match had the ending been different and had it continued on further. Had we seen that last 5 knuckle shuffle. But yeah, all I can say is that this is scripted entertainment, and for the sake of my own sanity to get over this disastrous decision, I'm just gonna have to say, hey, this is scripted entertainment, people. Just because John Cena tapped out and quit on his last day on his last day of work, so to speak, doesn't mean you should quit. Doesn't mean you should back down. And I don't know when that WWE Unreal is coming out. It's coming out next January, I think. But I want to find out who was responsible for this finish. And John Cena's an honest man, so I guess we'll find out if he was responsible. But I'm a big fan of Triple H. But if Triple H was responsible for this decision, which is probably the only person to blame for this decision other than John Cena, then yeah, Triple H, yeah, I can't disagree with those words, Triple H, and I respect you as a performer, as a man. But yeah, what were they saying? Well, I can't repeat the words the crowd was saying to Triple H at the end of the night, but they were saying Super Cena, and that Super Cena could have continued to the end of the night. And what can I say? A disastrous finish to a beautiful, an otherwise beautiful tribute, a beautiful night and a beautiful, almost fairy tale like career for John Cena. Career that I've had the pleasure of watching and seeing and recognizing the talent in John Cena back in 2003 when he was the Doctor of Thugonomics. And now John Cena has an almost perfect ending to his 23-year professional wrestling career. So, thank you. And if you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to hear more from Wrestling Review.